Aska, the energetic and strong mother. Yamato, the younger brother who's always in his own little world. Follow us as we karate kick all your daily frustrations away. Asuka's Revenge.
My name is Aska, and I'm currently living at my in-laws' house with my husband Ryota, my son Hayato, and my daughter Ayaka, my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law Kotomi. Oh my god, it's so cramped! And it's not just the room that's cramped, it was also invading my mind. What? Kotomi's going bankrupt? Kotomi, who had always been a spendthrift, has now finally gone bankrupt. I can't believe it! I was also harassed by my mother-in-law, and I decided to move out. Okay, the time has finally come. From a while ago, my husband Ryota and I
Let's save up the money and buy a house just for us.
have been talking about it for a while. We could have moved to a rented place, but we have kids, so let's hold out and save money for the future. That's what we had promised ourselves. And then, finally, the day has come. We bought a new house without telling my mother-in-law and Kotomi. Ryota and I already made plans, and we quickly moved our belongings out of the house while my mother-in-law watched in disbelief. Mother-in-law, we're moving out today. When I said that, my mother-in-law reacted unexpectedly.
Huh? What about Hayato?
She thought I was going to leave her grandson, Hayato. Huh?
What kind of a rotten wife would leave her child who's still in middle school?
Mother-in-law's face was turning red as she said so. What? Of course not. I don't think I will ever understand just my mother-in-law's thought process. When I was about to explain, Hayato and Ayaka spit out the milk they were drinking all at once.
Grandma, what are you talking about?
So me, Ryo, Hayato, Ayaka, and the whole family are going to leave together. As I said this, my mother-in-law finally understood what was happening and her red face turned completely pale. I never said I was the only one leaving, did I? Just from this response alone, you can understand how my mother-in-law is a person who can only think in a way that suits her.
Get out of my house!
I don't understand why she's asking me to take care of her grandchildren when she laments like this. So, from now on, all four of us will live happily together as a family, so please don't disturb us, mother-in-law, since you're a stranger. When I said so,
I've never seen a woman with such twisted guts as you.
My mother-in-law retorted like that, but the kids were the ones who would not be silent here.
Grandma, you once told Mom that a wife is a stranger and a distraction, right?
That's right. You told me to live with Mom, didn't you? Why are you mad at us? We're just gonna leave like you asked.
I'm my mother and father's son, but I don't consider myself Grandma's grandson, okay?
With Auntie Kotomi here, it's not like you'll be all alone. Grandma, you used to say that having a daughter is a waste of money, but aren't you glad you had a daughter too?
I had a lot to say, but it seems that the two kids had a lot of resentment stored up as well. If Ryota had been there, I would have stopped them, but he wasn't there, so I didn't. Sorry. I actually wanted to laugh my guts out when I saw my mother-in-law being told off by her two grandchildren. I know it's wrong as the mother to let them say that much to their grandmother, but she deserves it. That was my honest opinion. This has become a memory that makes me laugh in tears even when I think about it now. So we were able to finish the move without incident, but afterwards, my mother-in-law kept calling Ryota on his cell phone with angry phone calls. We let it go for a while, but...
Oh my god! How many times do you have to call me?
Ryota was getting frustrated, so we decided to pick up the phone and answer it. Ryota's irritation was just an excuse, and the truth is, I still had a lot to say. To sum up, my mother-in-law's phone call, she said,
Give me back my son and Hayato!
She was shouting so loudly that I could almost smell her bad breath through the phone as she hurled abusive language. To that I kept ignoring her. Maybe because of her age, she was out of breath and she started to lose her voice after about 15 minutes. Here we go. Time to attack back. I decided to tell her what I wanted to say. Mother-in-law, we were just watching the open ceremony of the Olympics on the big TV in the living room with the whole family. It's so comfortable to spend time alone with family without worrying about others. Huh? Next week, we are going to the beach. It's been a while since we've been on a trip with just the family, so not only the kids are excited, but so is Ryota. I won't buy mother-in-law souvenirs because you're a stranger, but if you still keep calling, I can at least tell you about the souvenirs. I think I was also very fired up. I took this opportunity to vent my resentment for my mother-in-law calling me a stranger for so long. Mother-in-law was in tears by the end. Ryota was listening to this conversation from the side. I wonder if he's going to get angry. I thought so, but then the phone stopped ringing since then, and he was in a better mood. Ryota was angry at my mother-in-law and Kotomi's attempted debt plan in Ryota's name after they kept begging him for money. But he really didn't seem to care about my mother-in-law and Kotomi since he was the one who initiated this insulating move. And we got so excited and told Ayaka.
You're both a little over the top.
Since I've been told that, I think it'll be fine. But I can use the house more spaciously now that I don't have a family of 4 and their luggage crammed into a small Japanese-style room, and there are no rotten bananas or garbage on the table and no flies flying around. Even the kitchen is adjusted to my size, so I don't have to bend over. And I can stuff my fridge with whatever I want. I couldn't help resist my excitement to start shouting and dancing. I mean, I'm already doing it. I don't care if you're my mother-in-law. Just look at how happy I am. I'm really sorry an old lady like me is getting this excited. I was stuck in that state for a while. But I think Hayato and Ayaka have been through more pain than I have, so let's not get carried away. It may be a little too late, but from now on, I will protect them as mother. I've laid some groundwork in place with the kids at school and relatives, but even though we're insulated, we only moved a short distance away due to school district issues and so on. I guess it'll take a little more time before things are completely peaceful. My mother-in-law a year after I gave birth to Hayato when I was pregnant with Ayaka.
We only need one successor. The second one will cost a lot of money, so give it up.
She kept saying that until Ayaka was born, and because it was a girl.
I told you that a second child is a waste of money, and women just eat money.
And if I tried to get her to take lessons, she would call a teacher and try to get her to quit without permission. In my mother-in-law's mind,
the eldest son is the heir, is the one who earns money for the house. A wife is the one who provides money from their parents and labor to the house. Daughters are unnecessary.
This idea was actually written on a piece of paper and given to me just before Ayaka's birth. What? Now of all times? My only regret was that I could not let Ayaka learn to play the piano. If that's how it's going to be, I'll take the opportunity of moving to a new house and buy a piano. I thought it was too late, but Ayaka was overjoyed by this statement.
What? Really? I want to go learn to play the piano.
Since she said that, I immediately signed her up for piano lessons. At the time, it's not my mother-in-law who gives birth, raises the child, or pays, it's me. And I fought back desperately, but I still don't think I will ever understand my mother-in-law's ways of thinking. I don't even want to understand it, though. Ryota later apologized to me and my family for everything that happened, and completely cut ties with my mother-in-law and Kotomi. Tomorrow, I'm going to buy matching table mats for the family. I don't think I'll get out of this excitement for a while longer. Every small thing makes me happy. But taking a closer look, Ryota and the kids are equally high-spirited too. Well, it should be fine, I thought. After that, my mother-in-law and Kotomi changed their targets for money to my relatives.
We're blood relatives! Why don't you share a little bit of your money with us?
They are now being cut off from all their relatives. I guess that's why people say love lasts as long as money endures. My name is Kotomi. I'm married to a man named Yuta. Since we don't have kids, we both work full-time. I wonder if I can do something about my fat. My legs and stomach are so big, I'm getting tired of looking in the mirror. I used to get fertility treatments, but we found out that there wasn't any problems on my end. They eventually were able to figure out that it was something to do with my husband's side, so we started working on IVF. In vitro fertilization outside of the body. So I've been taking hormone injections for almost 5 years now. I'm a little fatter again. I can't say that it was the treatments for sure, but I started gaining weight. I was definitely fatter than before. I used to be pretty average. Over 5 years, I gained almost 20 kilograms. I can't seem to lose the weight either. Even after quitting the treatments, I still couldn't manage to shed the extra fat that I had gained. I rarely ate sweets and drinks at all. I would limit my intake while going on walks and try all kinds of exercises, but why? I almost wanted to cry with how much I couldn't lose my weight. The only thing I could think of were those treatments. The really sad part was that my husband would often look me up and down and sigh.
I loved you when you were slimmer.
He would drop these snarky little comments at me. My husband's mother would often snark at me as well.
Oh, you're completely different from when you got married. I'm sure you're just spending your days lazy.
My mother-in-law would walk around talking shit about me to her neighbors as well.
Oh, my daughter-in-law's the reason they can't get pregnant.
So everyone thought that I was infertile. Yuta's sister would even say,
You know, I wouldn't mind buying the clothes off you that don't fit you anymore.
while cackling at me. I'm not the reason I can't get pregnant. Eventually, I started despising my husband for all of this. I really couldn't stand my own husband talking about my weight like that. But I can't say anything to him because I know how much it'll hurt his pride. I'm sure he's hurt too. Just let it go. I kept stopping myself when I felt angry. Who knows, maybe I'm just fat for another reason. But when we got in a little argument, Yuta said,
I didn't think that you'd get this fat. This is a scam.
I couldn't stop myself from getting emotional, and if you were able to have kids, I never would have had to get those damn treatments that made me gain weight in the first place. Just drop that bomb on him. My husband started turning red and ran away back to his parents' house. When I quit treatments, I thought it would be fine as long as we both got along with each other and even felt that life would be okay without kids. These past few years, it's been nothing but struggles with Yuta. Honestly, I don't think it's possible for me to get along with him anymore. He never came home that night. He apparently went to work from his parents' house the next morning. I need to talk to him this afternoon after he gets home from work. My husband was the kind of person that expected his wife to take care of the household chores and has never touched a thing around the house in his life. I'm in my 30s and still work hard. I don't do anything that costs a lot of money, so I'm sure I can handle being on my own. But I'm sure my mom would be upset. I don't want to worry her. After 3 years of being married with no kids, my mother-in-law...
You need to go to the hospital. Something is definitely wrong.
So we both went to the hospital to get tested.
So, what were the results? It was you, right?
No. I had lower than average seed, so to speak, and Katomi was perfectly healthy.
We've had that kind of interaction before, so they all knew that the reason that I wasn't able to get pregnant was because of him. But she still continued even after I started receiving treatment.
The fact that we've got such advanced medical technology and you're still not getting pregnant means that you're definitely a part of the problem. It's not just Yuta.
When I started the treatments initially, Yuta would say,
I'm sorry. I know it's my fault.
At the time, he would console me and take my side, so I never felt that I was done wrong or that I needed to be angry at him. But as time went on, I started feeling like maybe it was my fault because of my mother-in-law talking to me. I gotta continue living with Yuta from now on too, but at what cost? I don't think there's any benefit to me living with him anymore. I was thinking about talking about divorce with him when he came back home, but he never came back home. He's just been staying at his parents' place this whole time. Wait, he's blocking my calls. Every time I try to call him, it would go straight to voicemail, but eventually I got a call from the mother-in-law chewing me out.
You said something you should never have said.
I'm sure he conveniently left out the part that led up to all of that. Please let me talk to my husband.
I'm sure if it's just you two, you both are going to get emotional, so you need to come over this weekend. Yuta has already been thinking about divorce. You two managed to get married, so you need to work this out together.
For some reason, she was lecturing me and said some pretty horrible things to me too. Yeah, I'm just not really feeling up to it. I'm also considering divorce. I let her know before hanging up. He's almost in his 40s and he's running to his parents' house before telling his side of the story and leaving out details. Now he's claiming he's a victim and wants a divorce, but I'm done. Because of that phone call, I now knew that I wanted a divorce completely. I didn't want kids with this man and I honestly make as much as he does. There was no point in us staying together. I'm over it. I went to a lawyer to consult him about what I should and shouldn't say this weekend. Then I got a call from my brother's wife, Aska. So yeah, I'm about to go to a lawyer to talk to him about it.
I know a good lawyer, actually. You want me to talk to him?
Really? That would help me out a lot, actually.
You never complain, like, ever. So I really didn't expect you to be going through that sort of thing. I'll go with you to the meeting with the lawyer.
The next day, I headed to the lawyer with Asuka-san. That night, though, I got a call from Ryota, my brother, who heard the news from Asuka-san.
Yeah, as a man, I don't think you should have said that. But I totally get why when I heard about the events that led up to that point. You must have really been cornered to say something like that.
I really can't go back to living with Yuta. I'm completely over him already.
Well, I'll go with you to the meeting this weekend, okay? I'm sure you're not going to be very comfortable. It's just all their relatives.
Really? Thank you. I was very happy to hear that my brother would be going as well. I talked to the lawyer that Asuka-san introduced me, and he told me all about the process and what kind of legal proceedings I could expect. I told him everything that led up to this point to begin with, sparing no details.
From what I've heard, I really don't see you getting the short end of the stick going to court with him. I think there's a lot of pain and suffering there mentally, but...
I see. Thank you. I feel better knowing that. It was finally the weekend and I headed over to their house with my brother. The conclusion of the talk was that I was even more sure that I wanted a divorce.
It's not like I'm dead set on divorcing.
What?
I had always felt a little bad about the fact that I was the reason you couldn't get pregnant, and it slowly turned into anger towards you. I knew that it was just the treatments that caused you to gain weight too.
Then why did you mock my body weight? Literally every day you said something about my size.
I didn't want to believe that I was the reason behind all of it.
I could tell he was being honest and I respected that. But the problem came after that.
The reason that I'm struggling this much is because you seem like you were enjoying yourself without a care in the world. You felt like nothing was wrong with you.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore. Honestly, I wanted a kid. I wanted a child really badly, but I just had to accept and come to terms with life without a baby. But that's just something that you're either blessed with or not blessed with, so I tried to not let it get to me. I was working hard to make sure that our lives were good, even without a child. I started crying as my feelings came pouring out. But I wasn't always positive, and there were days that I was really upset that we couldn't have kids. But me sitting there, crying and weeping would just make you upset, so I tried my best to keep that from you. And you're telling me that's what bothered you? You wanted me to just keep crying all day while you attacked me. I figured that my husband would never change from now on. At the same time, I thought about the possibility that we were unable to conceive because of me, and how horrible they would have been towards me if it wasn't his fault anymore. I can't be your wife anymore, and I'm not interested. I want to move forward with a divorce.
Hang on! I won't say anything about your body size. I'm sorry that I was just playing the victim card. Please, rethink this!
No. The mother-in-law kept trying to say something to me while we were talking, but
As a wife, that's...
they weren't exactly kind or logical things, so my brother would step in every time.
Just let them talk it out first.
The father-in-law quietly listened to everything that both of us had to say. At the end, once both of us had said our piece,
My son is completely in the wrong here. I'm really sorry for what you had to go through, Katomi-san. As a parent, I really do wish you two could work it out, but you have your life to live.
he formally apologized to me.
You can't force her to stay with you, kiddo. If you don't even have kids and there's no love there, you have to let it go. Just let it go.
He tried to convince my husband. My mother-in-law just kept glaring at me, clearly dissatisfied. At the end, we spoke for almost 2 hours, but my husband just could not accept the fact that we were going to get a divorce. If you want me to take this to the courts, that's fine, but I'm not going to change my mind anymore. It's all a waste of time. Let's have our lawyers talk about the rest.
I'll reach out to you later.
So the discussions were over and my brother and I left the house.
I guess we should go home and tell Mom, huh?
Yeah, I'm really worried about how she's going to take it. I wonder if she's going to be mad or sad. When both of us got back home, reported everything to my mom.
I've heard a lot of the story from Ryota.
I'm sorry, Mom.
I just want you to live your life and be happy.
She was so kind. I had this cloud hovering over my head for years, and but the fact that I was able to spill everything when we met, and the fact that, surprisingly, my father-in-law was fair and on my side,
I'm not surprised that you two are going to get a divorce.
made me feel that much better about everything. I wasn't that upset with them anymore. If anything, I felt like the air was cleared out. We started working towards a divorce, and in 3 months' time, we were officially divorced. About half a year later.
Kotomi-chan, you've lost weight, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was working so hard before to lose weight. I wasn't as in shape as I was before, but I was slowly starting to return to my normal size. I've started going to the gym too. Recently, I don't mind looking in the mirror at all.
My name is Kotomi. I've had some epic love affairs that resulted in resentment in the past. I still cringe when I remember it now. My lover's name was Yuya, and he's the root of all the evil I had to deal with. It happened about 3 years after Yuya and I started dating when we were both in the middle of our working lives. By the way, it's almost Yuya's birthday, isn't it? Is there anything you want to go? I remember just when I asked Yuya. Wait a second. Yuya last year.
Can I ask you to come with me to a place I want to go?
He invited me to go to a slightly expensive restaurant. We're both working and it's a celebration, so I replied okay and we didn't really talk about it. But I was looking forward to it, leaving some extra money on hand thinking of paying the whole bill. I can't wait for Yuya's birthday. And on the day...
Sorry for the wait, Kotomi.
Yuya came to pick me up and took me not to a restaurant, but to a famous haunted place. Wait, what is this place? I get extremely scared, by the way. Why did we come here? What happened to the restaurant?
I lied about wanting to go to the restaurant in the first place.
I was told. Huh?
It's not a lie because it's where I want to go.
He told me that, but I think Yuya knew that I wouldn't agree if the place he wanted to go was a haunted place, so he tricked me. This guy.
Let's get out of the car and walk.
Absolutely not. After a few moments of arguing, Yuya says,
Then why don't you wait here? In a haunted place. All by your lonesome.
And got out of the car while pulling out the car keys. What? Wait a minute. I got scared really easily, and there's no way I could stand this, so I made the ultimate choice and decided to follow Yuya. I have no choice. I was planning to go to a slightly expensive restaurant in the first place. I was wearing a formal dress and slender heels, not exactly appropriate for a haunted spot on a mountain road with no pavement. And Yuya, wearing his own sneakers, which he had probably prepared originally, carried a flashlight and marched ahead, leaving me behind who was still unsteady on my feet. Yuya, wait! I was so afraid of being left behind that I lost my balance and fell down on the spot when I tried to run to him. Ouch! And when I looked in front of me, Yuya was gone. Yuya? Yuya! I instantly panicked and started running towards the back where Yuya was. But then I saw that there was a slope and I fell down when I missed a step. Ah! When I stopped slipping, my whole body was in pain. The handbag I was carrying and one shoe had gone flying somewhere. My clothes were covered in mud and ripped from getting caught somewhere. I was so scared and in so much pain that I was crying on the spot. And then a light came down from above with laughter. The light was coming from Yuya. Yuya shines his flashlight on me as he comes down from above.
Oh man, running in the dark, huh? That was a great scream.
And said something like this. And as he approached me, perhaps freaked out because of my ragged state, he helped me to my feet and picked up my bag and heels, which had flown away. But I didn't react and went back to the car.
What? Kotomi? Are you mad?
And on my way home, he kept apologizing, making excuses, trying to put me in a good mood.
Kotomi, cheer up. I said I'm sorry.
He kept glancing at me as he drove. Can you just face forward and drive properly? If you want to be a ghost, fine, but don't drag me into it, I said in a surprisingly cold voice, and then he stopped talking to me. And when we arrived home and got out of the car, don't ever call me again. When I said that, he got impatient again and said a bunch of things, but I ignored him and went into the house.
Kotomi, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Forgive me.
And then I went into the house and looked at my whole body again in a well-lit place. It was covered in fresh wounds and it was a terrible mess. Of course it hurt. I looked terrible. It wasn't supposed to be like this. My ankle was sprained and swollen to the size of my fist, and I was wondering what to do because I lived alone and wanted to go to the hospital but couldn't. My brother is my only option. I made the long story short and explained to my boss at work, so I may take Monday off. In the meantime, Yuya has been calling me and sent all kinds of messages, but I ignored all of them. I should lay down the groundwork. I thought so, but I'm already tired, and the fear that I went to a haunted place was starting to boil over again. I'll get back to him later since some of the messages seem to be confessions. I decided to leave him alone for now. It's a good thing I left that guy alone. I don't care if he's sorry or not. And I ended up whining to my brother who was a few hours away on the highway to carry me to the hospital. Brother, I'm sorry, it hurts.
Just be quiet.
I was unable to walk, so my brother carried me. It's embarrassing, but he's my brother I can count on. When I got to the hospital, they said I had a crack, not a sprain. I also got a medical certificate because I had a cut on my head that I didn't notice because it was covered by my hair. I feel invincible now.
Kotomi, you're so energetic even though your body is in shambles.
Yuya continued to contact me.
Are you alright? Rest up, okay? I'm worried about you, so can't you at least give me a reply? Are you mad at me because I tricked you into taking you there? I said I'm sorry. I'm seriously sorry. I just wanted to play a little prank. I mean, it was you who ran and fell in the first place, so isn't it wrong how you're mad at me? Are you mad because you didn't get to go to a fancy restaurant? Were you going to take advantage of me?
I was exhausted and had accumulated so many savory messages that I was beyond angry and dismayed. I'm starting to feel the pain again.
You don't look good all of a sudden.
I took a picture of the injury before the procedure and the medical certificate and sent it to Yuya instead of replying to the message. Then I made sure Yuya had read the message and called him back. You replied, so that means you saw the whole thing, right? At that time, I still had feelings for Yuya, or I trusted his conscience a little bit and hoped he would realize the gravity of the situation. He's going to apologize and worry about me, right? I thought so, but Yuya's first words were in a low, gruff voice.
Huh? What's that? Blackmail?
He said, "You're gonna say that?" I cried into the phone because of the way he said it, and the phone was on speaker so my brother who was standing next to me could hear it.
Give me the phone!
My brother got angry in my behalf.
Do you know how dangerous it was for my sister? Huh? I'm sorry!
Yuya falters as he hears my brother's voice yelling and hung up the phone to get away. That bastard! But after that, Tomoko, the leader of my friend group,
I heard you had a fight with Yuya. What happened?
after I told her what happened,
Do you want me to go along with you as a third party to talk about the breakup?
so I decided to ask her, Tomoko, you're the best. Then we made a plan in Tomoko to Yuya.
You had a fight with Kotomi, didn't you? I'll listen to what you have to say.
And called him to the family restaurant, where my brother and I would meet up with them. I asked my brother to take me there and I'll talk about our breakup by myself, and asked him not to get into the conversation. And as soon as I entered the restaurant when Yuya saw me,
You tricked me! You're the worst!
and he unleashed an oversized boomerang. Tomoko and my brother were stunned at how stupid he was, or rather furious. In the end, my brother, Tomoko, and I attacked Yuya in full force.
I apologize! What I did to Kotomi-san was the worst thing I could have done!
I received an apology and had my contact information erased from Yuya's phone book right in front of me. I settled for him paying for my medical bills and the ruined clothes.
Well, I guess that's about it. But I can't pay that much for the medical bills!
Yuya insisted, but my brother,
Whose fault is it that Kotomi had to spend that much money?
he put him in a corner and got him to pay in a lump sum from his own savings, which he said he didn't have much of. Oh man. And we ended with a final nail in the coffin, telling him that if he lied about the reason for our breakup or spread any strange rumors, I would spread the truth to all my friends via Tomoko. In case you're wondering why Yuya did what he did.
I thought it would be funny if I scared her. And if I scared her, I thought she would depend on me.
He said, Idiot. I've jumped behind the couch in the past because I saw a commercial for a horror movie. I'm not going to quietly shiver in a haunted place, you idiot. Those were my last words to Yuya. My name is Kotomi. My husband Satoshi is 35 years old, and we have 2 children the same age. I love to cook, and I'm particular about counting calories and number of dishes. I just want my kids and my husband eat well and stay healthy. I weigh out the rice and put it in front of the family, whether it's white rice or grain rice.
Itadakimasu!
Itadakimasu!
The kids look forward to my cooking.
I don't want to go to a family restaurant. I'd rather eat at home than eat out.
It's too greasy. I don't like it.
That's how much they like home-cooked food. Family restaurants and fast food are delicious, but what parent wouldn't be happy to hear their kids praise?
Thanks for the food.
That's right, about going back to the parents' house for Golden Week.
Oh, you don't have to come to my parents' house anymore.
What? This is a sad memory from a year ago that is no one's fault. Or if I may say so, the honesty of a child may have hurt my husband. We visited my husband's parents for Golden Week a year ago. What's served there are instant noodles, instant curry, fried shrimp from the supermarket.
I want to eat Mom's food. I'm thirsty.
Kotomi-san is a good cook after all.
I quickly followed up. Grandma's busy, but she prepared this for us. If you say that much, you guys should cook. My husband said nothing and looked uncomfortable.
Then teach us how to make the best dish before we come next time, Mom.
What do you like, Grandma?
Meat and potatoes. I'm looking forward to it.
My mother-in-law and father-in-law are both very generous people, so things didn't get particularly awkward at my parents-in-law's house. But the card ride home was the worst.
I can finally eat Mom's food.
Home is the best. Hey, is my parents' house that bad?
What are you talking about? I had a lot of fun.
I didn't ask you. I grew up there all my life. I feel bad. It's like you're denying my upbringing.
Sorry.
I won't say anything you don't like anymore, Dad.
Well, you know, people's houses are all different, and there's no such thing as good or bad. After this statement I made, there was no more conversation in the car until we arrived home. No one would like to be denied of their upbringing. This is the reason why we're not visiting my in-laws this year.
I want to learn how to cook even if we're not going to see Grandma.
Mom, teach me how to make fried tofu tomorrow.
Sure, that's actually really easy.
I'm going to Wakdo tomorrow. I don't need any food.
Okay, you can go tomorrow. It's happening a lot lately. My husband sometimes goes out to eat alone. It's something we discussed and it's okay, as long as it's within the family allowance. My husband weighed 98 kilograms at 182 centimeters when we first married, and he went down to 80 kilograms. He's going to gain weight again. One day, I got up the courage to talk to my husband. You know, we said it was okay as long as it's within our allowance, but haven't you been eating out more lately? How much do you weigh?
If you don't want me to go out to eat, then serve me something more hearty. It's not enough meat and fat.
Okay, I'll make you a giant hamburger steak next week. That day, I prepared just enough meat to meet my husband's request in terms of nutritional balance. I'm sure Satoshi will be satisfied. I said giant hamburger steak, so I used tofu to add extra volume, but I think it turned out pretty tasty.
Itadakimasu! Yum! Not like this.
What? You don't like it?
I want more mindless food. Calories, fiber. I just want to live more carefree. Even if it's just in my house.
But I just want Satoshi to be healthy.
My body's healthy, but my mind is not.
Poor Mom. She said she'd make hamburger steak for you, Dad.
There were times when my husband would stand in the kitchen and cook whatever he wanted. But every time he did, the kids would say,
Mom said cleaning up is part of cooking. You have to throw the garbage away.
So he sulked and stopped standing in the kitchen.
I should have married someone more suitable. I don't need kids either.
The night I made a giant hamburger steak, he ended up going out for a drink, so I was alone in bed reflecting on what he said.
I'm an outcast. I'm lonely because even the kids are on your side.
That's because you never took care of the kids in the past. Yes, Satoshi was so disinterested in his children, they were raised mostly by me and my mother. I never once blamed him for that, but I think it's only natural that the kids would be fond of me. No, I'll just go to sleep remembering how happy the kids were then, how Satoshi was disappointed. I naturally fell asleep listening to the kids' laughter and talking that leaked from the other room. I must have been in a light sleep because when I woke up, I heard my husband talking on the floor below. Is he calling someone? I have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry. I decided to go downstairs quietly so as not to disturb him.
Oh no, I gotta go.
He hung up the phone and hid the phone behind his back the moment he saw me. What was that about?
It was my junior.
Why'd you hang up so soon?
We were discussing personal information.
I went straight to the bathroom. Good night, I told him and fell asleep again. This was at noon on a Saturday when the kids went over to the neighbor's house to play.
Sorry I cheated on you. I still do.
My husband was honest from the moment we started dating. He can't hide anything from me.
And honestly, I don't think I can stop cheating.
He went to a dessert bar with a woman who worked for him, and that's when they started having an affair.
I couldn't go in alone, so I asked her to come with me. You said you would never go there, right, Kotomi? All that bad food?
How old is she?
She's 22 years old. Just graduated.
She was younger than I thought she'd be, and I was stunned. Are you serious? You want to divorce me?
I want a divorce. She's the one that comforts me.
I couldn't respond immediately. I was always prided myself on being Satoshi's #1 wife. I don't want a divorce. I thought Satoshi couldn't live without my protection, but I realized that was what was driving Satoshi away. Tell me honestly what you didn't like about me. I always kept the house clean, but...
It's like a showroom. It's exhausting.
The nutritionally balanced diet.
I'm the only one excluded who doesn't enjoy it.
What I did for Satoshi's sake all backfired. At first, I thought about forgiving the affair and continuing our life together, but...
Please, I'll pay you this much now.
He started negotiating.
I'll pay you this much in child support too, so let me be with my junior.
He was so determined that I agreed to the divorce. Satoshi left the house for us.
You still love me, right? Yet you divorced me, so I have to make it up to you.
Those were his last words. The kids were okay as long as they got to live with me.
It's normal for kids to be without dads nowadays.
And men who say bad things about their mothers should get thrown out. Bye-bye!
And they were on my side as usual. I used to cry about it in my sleep, but one day, I just got over it. I got a lot of money from Dad, so I'm thinking of starting something, I declared to the kids. I used to post my cooking on social media, and I was trying to make that into a full-time job.
A cooking expert?
Yep. At first, I studied cooking for Satoshi, but I started thinking it'd be better if it was for everyone. Thanks to you guys, I was able to have a dream. The dining table brightened up after Satoshi left. Maybe it's a good thing we got divorced because we only talk about positive things now. In the past year, the number of followers on my social media started growing, and I became a full-fledged influencer. I'm really happy when people send me messages saying how delicious my recipes are.
Can we start over? You still like me, right?
I'm going to block you. I started getting more and more buzz on social media, and 2 years after the divorce, I joined a talent agency. I'm making as much money as Satoshi now. I'm glad I went independent. I thought I could still start my life over if I didn't give up.
I wrote about you in an essay about someone I admire, Mom!
I'm glad. Thanks. Still, I was troubled by Satoshi's request to get back together. I heard Satoshi gained weight again and that he was dumped by the junior woman who he was serious about.
Did you really think I was going to marry an old man like you?
He was shocked to hear that and is trying to get back to me. So, Satoshi was the only one who was serious. I think my ex-mother-in-law is telling Satoshi to refrain from contacting me, but the more he is held back, the more he gets fired up. I joined an agency, so be careful. If you keep persisting, I'll call a lawyer. I don't have any feelings for Satoshi anymore, so don't get me wrong. My ex-mother-in-law and I kept in touch from time to time after the divorce. But when I thought she praised me for my TV appearance,
Satoshi is always bragging about how he was married to such an amazing woman. I want you to refrain from appearing on TV.
She complained, so I cut her off. What right do you have to tell me what to do? We're divorced and you're just a stranger. Today I'm busy making people happy all over the country. I'll make my own way. I'm Kotomi the cooking expert. What's the dish you're going to introduce today? Giant hamburger steak with tofu.
My name is Aska. My husband Ryota graduated from a small community college and works at a small company in the countryside.
All right. See you later.
Have a great day! My brother-in-law, Ryosuke-kun, actually went to a really famous college and works at a really big company, and my in-laws love him. We have been married for 2 years and have no kids. We live a little distance away from my in-laws, so my mother-in-law would sometimes say or do mean things, but Ryota usually helps if he notices, so I guess I'll just ignore it. I didn't think much of it at the time. But then one day, Ryosuke-kun, my in-law's favorite, was going to get married. So my in-laws, myself and Ryota, were all going to meet the girl at his parents' house. I wonder what kind of girl Ryosuke-kun is going to marry.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet her.
We arrived at around 6 p.m. that evening, just like my mother-in-law instructed. Good evening, thanks for having us.
I'm home.
On the table, there were various dishes placed for us to eat.
I worked hard for Ryosuke-chan's wife.
My mother-in-law was smirking the whole time, but the reality of it was that I had a really bad egg allergy and I can't eat any of the dishes. She knew that, and she was a great cook too. I just made sure to turn my head and eat what I knew I didn't have egg in it. She's doing it again. I was used to this sort of thing, and I just took my seat and ate what little I could that didn't include egg. I don't eat anything, but if Ryota notices, he's going to get angry, so she's always so good at adjusting everything. There was sashimi placed towards me this time too. I could eat that, I guess. Nice to meet you. I'm Nanako. After we all said our hellos and started to eat, apparently sashimi was Nanako-san's favorite, and my mother-in-law kept pushing her to eat more.
Look, there's a lot of sashimi here.
Thank you so much. The salad was also using quite a bit of egg this time, so I was unable to eat pretty much anything. I was just eating a plain bowl of rice. Then Ryota noticed and said,
What about this? Or this?
That has egg. He would ask or suggest me to eat certain things, but they had eggs in them. I told him no every time he made a suggestion. Then eventually, Ryota figured out that everything had eggs in it. However, this was a place where we were supposed to be celebrating Ryosuke-kun, so we couldn't get angry or anything either. Don't worry about me, okay? Let's just celebrate for Ryosuke-kun, I whispered in his ear. She must have noticed me not eating. Nanako-san, who was being questioned by my mother-in-law, said,
Asuka-san, if there's something you want to eat around me, just let me know, okay?
She was kind. However, then my mother-in-law said,
She's such a picky eater that she can't eat a lot of things.
she let out a little cackle.
I see. What are you not good with, Asuka-san?
Nanako-san asked me, and for some reason, my mother-in-law thought that it was her position to answer.
Asuka-san doesn't eat any eggs. Kinda crazy, right?
Why is she answering when I was asked the question? Ugh. I just left it alone when Nanako-san suddenly looked different.
Wait, you're not allergic, are you?
Then my mother-in-law, with her usual shit-eating grin.
Yeah, what a crock of. She's just being spoiled, and now look at what she's turned into, huh?
Nanako-san heard this and was infuriated.
Spoiled? Allergies are being spoiled? Are you being serious?
Huh? Oh, you know.
Nanako-san looked at my now nervous mother-in-law and looked over the whole table at all the dishes that we are prepared.
There's a person that literally cannot eat eggs even if she wanted, and these were the things you chose to cook.
She exclaimed before turning to me.
Was this sashimi for you? I'm so sorry.
She was apologetic to me.
No, that was just because I heard that you really love sashimi, so...
My mother-in-law was starting to stumble out some words, but then Nanako-san said,
What? But then Asuka-san has had nothing to eat. Attacking a person for something they can't really change. Boy, your mother has a lovely hobby, doesn't she?
She smiled. For some reason, my mother-in-law started crying, and my father-in-law started questioning her. Ryosuke-kun, who saw his kind mother act like this for the first time, was shocked. Ryota said,
Nanako-san, I'm so sorry for making you feel so uncomfortable in a place like this.
He apologized to her. The whole place was just chaos, so we left the house in a hurry. Afterwards, Nanako-san spoke to us through Ryosuke-kun's phone.
I'm so sorry for everything. I knew you came out this way to meet me.
She was apologizing to us. No, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be your celebration. This whole time I thought that, but I felt a lot better after Nanako-san spoke directly to her. I'll just ignore my mother-in-law. Nanako-san was apparently a nurse, so just the other day, she was treating a little boy who had the same allergies as I did and was pretty bad.
I just remembered how bad that boy had it, and I reacted a little too much towards her. I'm really sorry for ruining the party.
Apparently Ryosuke and his fiancée were going to stay after we left, but they also ended up leaving and staying in a hotel. Oh, then how about we grab some food? So we all ended up meeting up to grab some food. We had told her to begin with,
I don't want my lovely Ryosuke-chan to have to take care of me, so you two look after me once I'm older.
We were deemed as caretakers, and so Ryota wasn't a huge fan of his house either. That's why I didn't meet up too frequently, and this was supposed to be a special occasion. So Ryota's anger was pretty bad too.
She's going too far. How could she do that?
Ryota's a man, and he would have noticed a difference in dishes if he tried. He was getting angrier by the second after figuring out how sneaky she was being. I've never seen someone shift into drive and put the pedal to the metal without even turning on the engine. We don't have kids, but just imagine if we did and her doing that to her kids.
Yeah, kids very well may not know about it, so it's pretty dangerous.
We were all talking and turned a pale blue. I can't hold it back anymore. You two are getting married, and I'm sorry for all this right after meeting you, Nanako-san, but... Ryota said,
I'm not going to be dealing with Dad or Mom at all. I'm not going to live with them, and I'm not going to help them financially at all either. So I don't care if I inherit nothing.
He was clear.
Also, they know our address right now, so I need to move. I know it's like cutting ties, but I don't want my kids to have any kind of interaction with them.
Then Nanako-san said,
I think that's for the best. Life can't be replaced.
Ryosuke-kun also said,
We're not going to deal with them anymore either. We talked about it last night.
They were clear too. According to Nanako-san,
there are cases where the mother-in-law intentionally feeds the grandchild some kind of toxic food.
So even if you limit to allergies, there's still a lot of other things that you need to worry about. I think that we also have a huge difference in how we raise kids. I don't know the exact specifics, but I don't want my kid to have to deal with it. We all spoke to each other, and eventually, I was just plain afraid of my mother-in-law. She was pretty mean towards me, but I think she did think that eggs were just too good for you. It's too late if you wait till something happens. I really wish she understood that. Afterwards, we officially cut ties and we all live quietly in a place that they don't know the address to while raising our kids. Raising kids is seriously just so unpredictable.
Ryosuke-kun didn't even have to cut ties. Her mom was afraid of them after the incident, so she never reaches out to them. I think she doesn't like me. Nanako-san was laughing about it.
My name is Ryota. This is when I was living with Asuka with plans for marriage. Woo! This looks so good! Asuka always cooked me food from when we were dating, and I needed a lot of energy for work, so she always helped me out by giving me plenty of nutrient-dense food. Of course, she didn't just give me a bunch of food that was dense in calories, she gave me plenty of veggies too. Asuka's bento is seriously the best thing ever.
Your girlfriend handmade your bento again? She must be busy every day.
Seriously, I have nothing but appreciation. This is my coworker, Yamada. He recently got married and had a child. Then one day after work,
I have something I want to ask you about. Can I go by your house?
he said out of the blue. But at that time, Asuka was also on her way home, so I didn't want to try and handle a guest on my own. I don't mind eating out somewhere to talk, but Asuka's still out with work, so I don't have anything I can really do at home. But still, he said,
I want to talk about my marriage, so I want to hear Asuka-san's opinion too.
He wouldn't budge.
Please, I want to go over. I'm begging you.
He just would not let go. Yamada hasn't been one to talk to me about anything, so I spoke to Asuka to tell her about it. But she said,
Huh? I can't do anything, but if he's okay with it, can you just get some alcohol for me?
So I invited Yamada over.
Thanks for having me.
So, you want to talk about your relationship with your wife?
Yeah. I'll take my time in talking to you.
Even after we were drinking at his house, he wouldn't start talking about what he said he wanted to, so I was starting to get irritated.
I'm home. Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
Then Asuka came home. She immediately started preparing.
Sorry, I'll make us something for us real quick.
She made about 5 things for us in about an hour.
Sorry again.
Of course, she put out the snacks first, then the main dish. So I really felt proud of my girlfriend.
Huh? What? How?
Yamada, watching the whole thing unfold, looked confused and surprised. Asuka finally took a seat with us.
All right, let's eat. I'm hungry.
He finally started talking, tears in his eyes.
Well, I wanted to talk about,
Why are you crying, dude? According to Yamada, he saw me bringing my bento that was handmade by Asuka.
The only reason that she's able to make that much is because she spends time on it, right? I'm sure it's probably just store-bought or something, too. He's just being fooled. What a nerd.
He was looking down on me the whole time and laughing. You little...
But that was all wrong. She really was cooking for you.
I came to a sudden realization. Wait, you came all this way just to check that? I wanted to punch him in his face, but I was just shocked by his next words.
Which means that my wife is totally just not doing anything and slacking. I found a crappy wife.
Honestly, Asuka and I were both pretty tired and disgusted by Yamada's behavior. What? We were both stunned. Listening to Yamada's story, apparently he always eats a regular main dish with some side dishes.
If my parents only cooked a single dish, I wouldn't mind either. But Ryota-san, your bento is different. You always get so many other dishes, and it's so good looking.
That's because Asuka's working hard for me.
I tell my wife that I want more, but she says that they both work. So she's sure that Asuka is probably just buying things from the store. So I wanted to check today to make sure, and reassure myself that not every wife is perfect.
I don't give a shit about your little ego, dude.
Well, now that I know my wife is slacking, I can't really unsee what I've seen.
He started seriously crying. I was honestly just stunned by the stupidity of the whole thing. This is so stupid. You really came all this way to look at Asuka cook?
Just because of all that? I was part angry and part just disgusted. Asuka, I'm sorry for making you cook in such a rush over something so stupid. Asuka, who was listening this whole time, quietly nodding her head, said,
I mean, if you want more food, just cook yourself.
Then Yamada stood there like he just got slapped in the face. Asuka continued,
Your wife is in her early 20s and makes you a solid meal every day, right?
I mean, yeah, but...
You know, it must be difficult with cooking for you and raising the child. You don't think you're a lucky man to have a wife that works that hard for you?
I mean, yeah, sure, but I've got work to do.
It's fine. I've got work too. At first it was pretty difficult, but once I got used to it, it wasn't too bad. You can do it too. Ryota also helps me out recently too, right, sweetie?
Asuka asked me. So I said, yeah, I mean, sometimes. I really only do little things to help out around the area, but Asuka kept cheering me on.
It's going to be fine, my guy.
Maybe she was starting to get tipsy. She was starting to talk about her friends' horror stories of raising a child, and how simple and easy it is to really make small side dishes.
So yeah, you just cut the carrots thin or fry them and make a salad.
Asuka worked in education, so she was always great at teaching. Yamada wanted to argue back, but he couldn't really say anything because of how positive and bright Asuka was. At the end, I'll do my best!
All right, great job. Let's try practicing now.
Both Yamada and I were pretty drunk at this point, but now I was also dragged into this mess of cooking. I remember the really simple stuff, but...
No, that's scary. Fix your grip. Yeah, perfect. You're doing great. Oh, you just cut like this.
Sure. I want to go to sleep. At first, Yamada wasn't too interested, but he started getting better, and with Asuka's help, he started feeling more confident. The final dish was actually great. Someone made the food, and it wasn't just appearing on the dish.
Whoa, that's crazy!
Asuka gave her advice before packing up some extra food in Tupperware and sending it to him. A few days later, Yamada said that he talked to his wife, and we received some cookies as a thank you. She does the cooking primarily, and Yamada does some additional side cooking. Asuka would also often send emails,
These are the ingredients you need.
helping him out. But recently, my hobby is cooking. He was really great. The other day, he saw my bento and said, I really am sorry for all the trouble I put you two through that day. But I'm glad that I went to your house. If I hadn't had Asuka-san help me out, I might have even had a divorce. Then I felt better overall. Like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I mean, my wife is the best wife in the galaxy.
My name is Aska. I've been living with his parents after I married him. Good morning. Good morning, Asuka-san. I told my friend that I live with them and... I can't believe you live with your in-laws. I could never do it. They would often complain to me, but both my in-laws work, so I almost never hear anything bad from them. It's really nice and comfy, actually. My grandma would work on her garden or play gate ball and never really got in the way of things. If anything, she's been looking after her kids really well. I would often go to buy groceries while letting her look after the kids. Is this heaven? I was having a great time except for my sister-in-law and her husband, Ryosuke. They live about 15 minutes away from the home, and Sayaka-san brings her kids around often. Huh? You're leaving your kids again? Just for a second. I gotta go with my friends. I'm so glad that my in-laws are so nice. She didn't seem to really care at all. She left her kids in our hands. That's going a little too far, don't you think? I was getting pretty irritated. Just leave her alone. It's fine. My grandma often told me that, so I did. Man, I guess it's tough to make someone her age angry, huh? It's completely different how chill you are. Sometimes she would stay at the house and drink tea while dropping off her kids, but she would often say, Ryosuke looks meh, but he's a great ATM. Pretty horrible, huh? Ryosuke-kun was pretty young, but worked in a pretty specific field. He makes decent money and works at a decent company. He's smart and hardworking. You shouldn't be talking about your own husband like that, especially at his own parents' house. I warned her, but she wouldn't listen at all. It's just the truth. She would just chuckle. You're seriously so rotten. Ugh. In addition, Sayaka-san said, your husband, on the other hand, looks great, but is a pretty meh as an ATM. That's pretty rude, don't you think? It's just the truth. I really felt uncomfortable and angry. I didn't like her at all. I'm pretty satisfied, and he works hard for his family, so I love him to death. She often said these things while my mother-in-law wasn't around, but it's not like she stopped if she was around. I'm the only one that can hear her. I mean, who cares? It's not like she can hear.
Disgusting. Seriously, I can't handle this.
Then, one day, something happened. The other day, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and Sayaka with her husband all went out to eat together. It was when there were no kids around. This food is really delicious.
Yeah, it is. You can't have this kind of flavor at the house.
What? But you're so good at cooking!
Oh, you stop it.
Look at her kissing ass.
The conversation continued on with Sayaka-san's empty compliments taking the lead.
Sayaka, how about you learn how to cook from Mom?
What? But you're so good at cooking.
I mean, yeah! Dude, shut up!
Ryota and Ryosuke-kun were both unaware of the actions and things that she was saying about their mother. Then, one day, my grandmother all of a sudden,
Oh, yeah, there's apparently an ATM or something at your house. I heard that it was really convenient or something. I guess it looks horrible, though. If my back and knees weren't so bad, I'd love to get a glimpse of this ATM thing.
She started talking. Grandma?
What? Wait, what are you talking about? An ATM at Ryosuke's house?
Of course, everyone completely understood that she wasn't talking about a machine at that point. Grandma, that's not what that means. Ryosuke-kun was bright red and clearly furious. My father-in-law and Ryota were both furious as well.
Explain yourself!
Then Sayaka-san said, Huh? Wait, but she can't hear. She was completely panicked. Then Ryosuke-kun bit down and looked over at his mom and said,
Sorry, that's not about a machine, Mom. That's about me.
He told her the truth.
What?
At first, she was just confused. But eventually, she started understanding what was going on.
You little... What are you talking about? Looks bad. Ryosuke looks just like Brad Pitt. He's a great-looking man.
She was screaming at Sayaka-san and started chasing her without a care in the world that we were still in a restaurant. I'm glad it was a private room.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we managed to calm her down and we all disbanded, but it was terrifying afterwards too. Apparently, Sayaka-san would often come over to give the child to my mother-in-law because she wanted to go sleep with another man.
I thought it was suspicious, so I kind of investigated her.
Apparently, Sayaka-san was dating someone before Ryosuke-kun and her got married and they never really broke it off beforehand. She even went to a hotel to have some fun once a week with their kid swimming instructor. Ryosuke was getting ready for a divorce.
If there's anything we can do to help, just let us know. Thanks, bro.
I don't want to break up with you! Sayaka-san was begging at first, but...
Well, that's because I'm an ATM, right? Yeah, convenient for you!
Ryota-kun dropped that bomb on her and she couldn't say anything back. She had to sign the divorce papers. Then Sayaka-san, who often came over to leave her kids at the house, said, I don't want kids. So it was pretty easy for Ryosuke-kun to take the kids on. He of course sued her for damages and child support. Sayaka-san was found out by her relatives and parents about this whole incident, and she was sent back to the countryside where she was going to be monitored and under observation all day. She probably doesn't have time to meet any men now. After this whole incident, the worst part I played in this was, here, use this.
Oh, wow. I can hear everything really well. Thank you.
I gave my mother-in-law a hearing aid and didn't tell Sayaka-san. No, she's always just leaving her kids here and then leaving, so it's not like I had a good time to tell her. Then the whole comment about the ATM caused the divorce between Sayaka and her husband. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. These kind of things need to be sorted out sooner rather than later.
I was pretty happy that she wasn't angry. After getting the divorce, my brother-in-law came back to his parents' house as well, so now the house is even more loud and bright than before.
You leave the great-grandkids to me.
You gotta live long for that.
Yeah, that's right. You better live long.
We all thanked her very much.
Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. See you next time!